Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our V.I.P featured guest is a family life and leadership coach who focuses on helping parents love and lead their tween and teen daughters in a way that teaches them to love and lead themselves, while building a strong foundation of worth, esteem, and confidence all before they leave home. She is a wife and mom to 4 teen daughters. She is an author, speaker, podcaster, retired homeschooling parent, and adventure chaser. She has a degree in biology and psychology, years of personal and leadership training with a diverse background from, get this audience, we'll have her explain, humpback whales in the South Pacific to teens and parents in homes across the world. Silhouette, let's welcome Nellie Harden to the show. Hello, Nellie.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We sure did earn this opportunity together.
We did.
Real life. Oh my goodness. Nellie, it is so wonderful to be with you today and so thrilled to have you share a portion of your Silhouette of Success story. So once again, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, so am I, and so is the audience. Oh my gosh, just watching you and following along with just a morsel of what you're doing is so fantastic. So let's just kick it off and help you share your story by sharing a little bit of your background with our audience.
Okay. Well, my background, I'm 44 years old and I feel like I started from, the time I was born in order to get to where I am now. It's so funny. Looking back, you see how all the pieces of your life have really led you to where you are. And I really feel like I'm living in my mission field and right now. But when you're in it, you're like, where is this coming from? How is this going to, help me or move me toward anything good? Right. But when I was really young, I lost my dad when I was super, super young. I was only 9 months old when he was in an accident, and then he passed away when I was 1.5. And so living with, it was just my mom and I, and then she were married and I had a brother and sister from there. And I left home early too, because I was only 17. I grew up in Michigan. So back then or there, I don't know if it still is the case, but I didn't turn 18 until I was long out of the house. And so I left home at 17 and I really didn't looking back, I did not have, that foundation of worth or esteem or confidence in me, which then really led me down some very troubling roads when I went off to school, even if they were me seeking better academics or what have you, because I was just chasing worth everywhere I was going. And anyone or anything that would say, oh, you're good or you're worth it or, you're pretty or you're whatever, then I was like, like a, moth to a flame type of thing. And it really led down to some dark roads that then took decades of healing to get through. So that was my personal experience. And then, and I was going through biology and psychology. Those are what my degrees are in. And I was studying behavior. And I'm so fortunate. I feel so fortunate to have started in the animal field. I started in marine mammalogy. And now I work with teenagers and families, which is really funny. But it was a beautiful note in my history to be able to work in the more wild, black and white nature side of behavior, because there's so much of that that comes into play in humanity. But then we have so many towering layers of complexity over that. And, cultural layers, which are, add even more. And so I'm so fortunate that I had that, and hence the working with humpbacks and things in the South Pacific. So I worked with that, and then we went through infertility, and then I had 4 daughters in 4 years, and so now I'm raising these, young women in a way in order to, like I said, love and lead them, so they learn how to love and lead themselves before they leave home and out of the 65, 70, which is that's how many days are in 18 years, just 6,570. And so that's the goal, that they can be self-disciplined leaders of their own lives before they leave home. So they are chasing their passions, their desires, their goals, and they're not chasing their worth.
Half a page of notes already. Awesome. Okay. All right. So this is when I start. Okay, my brain, stay on the script. No, leave the script. Oh my gosh, this is okay. So you've answered, and okay, audience, what do they call them? Easter eggs when you plant something and you've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So you've already answered one question that I wanted you to share with the audience. So we're going to get back to that, of course, in a minute. But talk about baptism by fire. But really, when you do look back, just in the portion that you've shared, connecting the dots were leading you, you're right, to where you are. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you didn't know it at the time, and we know that in those moments, but wow. So talking through how your days roll. You've shared with us, your daughters, and clearly in your bio there you've got a lot going on, which is amazing. So a day in the life might look like for you as work or business day part kicks off. And of course, your mornings with the family and the girls. What does a day in the life look like for you? Do you find that you are more structured? Do you need a routine? Are you more spontaneous? Talk to us about that.
I actually was just reading something this morning that said, that was talking about how if you have structure, it can breed creativity. And I could not agree more. So I am structured so that I can be spontaneous and creative. And what I mean by that, so I have a morning routine, and my morning routine, which is definitely something I have to start my day with, Monday through Friday at least, or things go awry, right? And so I move during that time, whatever that looks like in that day. And I can choose what that is, but I have 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes of active movement every day. So maybe one day I'm lifting, one day I'm walking, one day I am biking, whatever that is. But I structure that time and then have flexibility within it. And then same with, I'm a Christian. I have my quiet time in the mornings. And so what am I going to read that day? What am I going to learn? Am I going to do a YouTube, tutorial on something and learn something? Or am I going to get into the word? What does that look like? And then I get up early enough that I am alone in the house. And that is mandatory for me, because if I get up and people are already up, then I feel like I'm behind already, for me personally. And so I get up, and then lo and behold, it's, hey, mom, can you bring, down a cough drop and a ponytail holder and my phone, right? That was this morning. And I was like, yep, 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 yep. And because I'm up in the office where it's our multi-purpose room. And so, and oh, can you sign this permission slip? Oh, I needed that. Oh, can you put, tighten my braid? I just can't get it tight enough this morning. All the things, right? So just being there to show up and be that ancillary, miscellaneous, do the things, whatever they need, and help them out and get out the door. Now, they are completely on their own as far as, they get up, they get themselves up, they make their own breakfast, they make their own lunch, and it's their responsibility to get out the door. But lo and behold, I mean, I have 4 teenage girls. There's always something that is like, oh, hey, can you help me with this? So just giving space for that, but not knowing exactly how that's going to be filled. So anyway, we get them to school. And like you said, when you were reading my bio earlier, I homeschooled for 7 years. And this is actually our first year back in a structured outside of home school environment. And so it's been a transition year for sure and trying to figure that out. But they go to school and then my husband and I, we both work from home. So we have breakfast together and we, talk through the day and then we get to work and then that's what we do. We date we have lunch together every day, but it's important for us to actually go on a date outside of our home twice a week as well. And so we get to do that. And we live in a beautiful place. So we just, go outside or we find somewhere, but it's that dating time and just talking about, oh, how's your day going? How's your day going? What's going on in your work? What's going on in your work? Oh yeah, what's going on with the kids? But really just diving into each other intentionally is really, really important to us. And then we get the kids back and we do all the things because anyone that has kids knows that there is drive here, drive there, do this, do that. And sometimes the schedule can get so overwhelming. But as long as as long as we have stayed centered, like hand in hand almost sometimes if we need it, I think about the end scene or when Jack and Rose are like jumping off in the Titanic, like this is going to be terrible. I don't know what's happening, but we're hand in hand and we're okay, and so yeah, we just get through it and we all convene at night together. And for 6 of us in a family, a very busy family with lots going on, my kids are 18, 15, 15, and 13 now. So there's always a lot going on, but we convene every night and just talk through things. And then twice a week, we have one-on-one time with our girls too, so that we can always maintain that relationship. And it's not just, hey, how are you? How was school? Fine. Here's your dinner. Great. Do your homework. It is okay, all of that, but also, hey, it's our time. And we sit down one on one and we just talk. And it's a two-way street. So it's not just, how is your life? What's going on? It's also, here's my life and here's what's going on. What do you think about that? So they can speak into our lives and we can speak into theirs.
How amazing. And just going back on that, the last point that you shared, where you've got that mutual buy-in, where they can see what's going on and they versus everybody's just going so fast and so crazy, and how does it get all done? Mom and dad just do it. So now
Yeah.
they know.
Yes.
Like, whoa, 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 guess what I had to do today? Awesome. Wow. How amazing. Going back through a little bit too and talking about your transitioning with your education from the marine mammalogy into working with teens and again talking about different special things that you've got implemented with your family unit and your schedule. Thinking back on that transition, who do you think or what influenced you to make that switch?
Yeah, that was another life bender moment that happened there. So I was going along, and I had my career, and then like I was saying earlier, we went through infertility, and then we had 4 kids in 4 years. Well, toward the latter part of those 4 years when we were having babies, my husband, we had just moved into a new house and we just put the twins down for the night. And they were maybe 11 months old. And he comes downstairs and he's like, I think I'm going to go to the hospital. And I said, what? And he's like, yeah, my heart's not working. And I was like, what do you mean your heart's not working? Right. And we had just moved in. I didn't know any neighbors. The kids were gone. I'm on the phone with the hospital and they're like, whatever you do, do not let him drive as the garage door is closing. Right. I'm like, he's on his way. And so that night was the start of 2 years of cardiac failure that he went in. And it all culminated in 2010 in April, Earth Day, actually, when he had to have heart surgery. And we did not know at that point if he would make it or not. He was in about 15 to 17 hours of AFib a day before, and he was only 33 years old before he went into surgery. And so, I shared earlier, I lost my dad really early in my life. And now I was sitting in a waiting room with 4 kids, 4 and under, and not knowing if my husband was going to make it or not. And that was really the birthplace of the 6570. And understanding, okay, we have this going on. We've had to have really hard conversations with our girls, even at that point when they were 4 and 2, like not the baby, of course, but we had to open up those lines of communication because we didn't know what was going to happen. And I didn't want to, hit them sideways if the truly terrible did happen. So we had conversations about it. And I'm sitting there in that waiting room and I'm just looking at them and I'm like, okay, no matter what happens, this is my timeline in order to get them to a place where they have their worth, esteem, and confidence. And I didn't have those words back then, but it was really just to get them ready for the world, because the world can be a really hard place, but it's also this incredibly beautiful and joyous place. And I want them to understand that and know that and be able to seek that and give that. And so this is my timeline to do that. And this is what we got to do. And so that waiting room was really the birthplace of all of that. And my husband did make it, and he's still here today, and we're doing well. But that was that. And just 5 months after that happened, we almost lost one of my daughters in a drowning accident. So 2010 was an incredibly transformative year to take everything that we have been doing and learning and implementing in our own family in order to make change, because my husband's heart condition is hereditary. We didn't know if our daughters would have it. Now we have found out just this past January that 3 of our 4 daughters have it, but they're showing no signs whatsoever yet. And many of that I attribute to the fact that we learned when they were so young, and we've been living a lifestyle in accordance just in case they did. And so anyway, we're, going along here, and we knew life is precious. And I was, for no better word, called in order to take everything that I have learned and done, implemented, studied in my career so far, and move it to family wellness, family disciplines in 2012. And I've been doing it ever since.
Milady, you are mission bound.
Yes.
You are mission bound. You were destined. Oh my gosh. Wow. Chills. Sometimes I tease and say, oh, goosebumps moment, but this is chills. You were destined bound for this. I'm going to skip ahead with your permission a little bit,
Absolutely.
because in this moment here, you're talking about one of my questions was going to be, and to have you share more about your project. Um, and now I know the answer to where it came from. And one of my questions was, tell us about how you came up with the title. Very surface level. We can't do that now because now we are in the visual, in the hospital room with you when you had that realization.
Yeah.
Wow. So talk to us about your project and what you're doing. We now know you're mission bound. We now, again, just chills about why you were called to do this and how it came to you, going all the way back to when you were a baby with,
Yeah.
and all of those. Wow. Okay. So tell the audience, give it to us. We want to hear all about it. So I know and I can pull this in and kind of pull back the script, but you are a business owner, an author, and podcaster, speaker, wife, mother. You help so many. Talk to us about this project that you were just creating for the world, for all of especially our young ladies.
Well, when I look at the world today, there's so many issues, and there's so much hurt out there. And I think it's really easy to lose the beauty today. And I see it, especially in our young people, losing the beauty and intention of the world and just giving in to feelings that are fickle and this, that, and the other. And if you're mad, just be mad and act mad. And if you're this, just be that and act that. And it might change, 4 times today, but that's fine because we're all living, by feelings. And then that takes you down some really dark roads that will require, I promise, so much healing from later on. And when I look at our young people today, and I look at the future generations to come, they absolutely need to be leaders of themselves before they can be a leader of anyone else. And when I was younger and my kids were younger, we would go to conferences and talks and things like that, and it was about leadership. It was about disciplines. It was about what to do and how to, you direct your life. And my kids were listening, and we would have those talks. And I realized, most adults do not either ever get leadership training, or if they do, it's in the construct of just their careers in their maybe 30s, 40s, 50s. But what happens if we take some of these main ideas of understanding your value system and understanding your core beliefs and understanding, your needs and how to fulfill them? What if we implemented that into the sticky, cement that is being made and stirred during the 65-70 before it is cured into the cement of our foundations as adults? Because no matter what, we leave childhood with a foundation. Many people, it is faulty. Many people, it is very frail and they fall through it, right? And then, but I want to give the next generations a foundation that they can stand on and launch from and grow from and lean on when necessary, right? And in order to do that, we need to start explaining to them and having these real conversations with them when they're younger. Because the mentality is, oh, we're raising kids. But we're not raising kids, we're raising people. And the goal is to have them be a successful, internally successful. I'm not talking about, corner office successful. That is another cultural stereotype that has been made. I'm talking about internally successful young adult by the time they leave home that knows their worth. They know that they have an ability to be seen, heard, loved, belong, and have a purpose. And they're actually have the stamina and they have the vision in order to follow through and go over that bridge to the other side to whatever that result is, right? They know that they are worth something. They know their value. They know their confidence. They truly believe in themselves and they can go forth in the world and do whatever they've been uniquely designed to do. But we can't do that if we're releasing generation upon generation of people out into the world that still have a childlike mentality and their brains are not developed and the tracks haven't been laid in those frontal lobes in order for them to know what they want to do and know how to do it.
So, where or how are you able to bring this to people, to families, to kids and educators? Um, where are you at with and just the project is called? Go ahead. The full
The
project.
60 it's called the 6570 Family Project.
Okay, I wanted you to say it in your voice to the audience so it sticks. How are you getting this out?
I do a lot of speaking and both in person and online. And I have a weekly show that I do through YouTube and writing as well. So I co authored a book last year called No Problem Parenting, which is wonderful. And then this year I am writing my own. Fully my own, I guess, book that should be out late this year, early next year. And so, I think I have a last count about 9 books that are in the docket to be written that are already partially done and manuscripts. And so, but, you know, books for teens, books for parents, books for whole families, books for kids, so they can start to learn these principles early, and parents have a vehicle in order to teach them, right? And through fun characters and things like that. But I truly believe the best way to change the world is through one living room at a time. It's too hard to have a mass quantity of adults try to chisel away at the cement of their childhoods and make change then. It can happen on an individual basis, but if we're really talking about world change and finding solutions forward, not finding disagreements, we don't have to try and find disagreements. They're everywhere, right? But we do need to really start focusing on finding solutions for so many different areas. And in order to do that, all of these people are going to have that internal leader within them in order to come and be able to work with one another. And so that's really the basis of where we're coming into and giving that worth, esteem, and confidence for our future.
Well, we need this. We need this from you. We need the light, and I agree with you. We just, especially over the last couple of years, we have seen just the absolute hunger and craving, especially from the kids, for direction and for
Yeah.
this. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I also want to extend an invitation and then pencil us in for when your book comes out. We want to have you back and share more about that.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is beautiful. So, talking through all of what you've got going on, and you've mentioned, the book and the co-authoring the book and these different things, all your amazing accomplishments, day in the life of, and then we sit back as especially females and women, we're caregivers. How does she do it? What's your secret? So there you go. Pressure's on. Give us a best practice or two. How do you get it done?
It really is, well, two things. There's the logical side, right? Which is just time management. We have so much more time than we think that we do. And so if you sit down, just map it out. Like, this is what I'm doing from here to here. You will find so many gaps of time. We have a family business too. Like, we are very busy people. And the average American family has 15 minutes of quality time together every day. 15 minutes. That's it. And our family has about 3 hours of quality time that we get to spend together every day, just being goofy, doing whatever, watching a show or, talking, playing a game, going on a walk, whatever that is. But we schedule that time in and we're intentional about it. So, number one, logistically, just be really intentional about your time. And I promise you have it. You can still get your 8 hours of sleep. You can still have your morning routine. You can still work. You can still have, your personal time, your lunch, and whatever that is. And you can still have family time. So be super intentional about it. And when you look at your time, you will see the space that you can use. It just takes intentionality. And then on a more mental, emotional, spiritual level, I am an introvert. I really do need that time that is just thinking time. So part of my morning routine is just a good space that is just me thinking. And for me, that sets up my day and helps me understand that I do have margin and I do have space in there. I journal in there. I do a lot of brain dumping, right? Because there's so much that happens in our heads and hearts these days. And if you keep it within you, it just is this big ambiguous cloud that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And somehow a cloud weighs 1,000 pounds and you feel so downtrodden, right? But if you just get it out and put it on paper, then you can actually see the structure of the words. You can ask yourself, is that really true? Well, it's not true, right? But I've been thinking it for the last few days, but it's not actually true. And it gives you a chance to then check yourself and just get it out, because the longer things stay in you, it's like spoiled food. It just gets rotten, right? And so get whatever you need out, and then also logistically look at your time. Those are definitely two of the biggest things that I use in order to get what I need done.
So I'm going to ask you, do you happen to have a map template available? Your time management, you could probably put that out there to the universe and do pretty good on that.
I do. I should do it for people. It's in my it's part of my resilience keystone tool in the Take the Lead
Okay.
program. But I could put that out and
Okay.
take it out and help people with that. Sure.
Take the lead program. Okay, audience, you heard that. You better go check it out when we put her links in the resource section so you can benefit from that she's got in her program. All right, milady, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this episode's sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Beauty is not limited to our outside appearance. It's inside us. It's our professional lives and our personal passions. It's in our health and wellness, our families, friends, and loved ones. Ask Us Beauty Magazine is content designed to educate, empower, and inspire individuals on all things beauty and wellness. We do this by bringing together people of all backgrounds to share their stories, leaving you with inspiration for living your best life. Whether it's through products, services, procedures, and personal brands, we challenge the status quo. Our mission is to change the narrative, allowing each and every one of us to define beauty on our own terms. Visit us today at askusbeautymagazine.com.
And we are back. All right, Nellie, I'm watching the time. I have a couple of quick questions. Can I squeeze them in?
Absolutely.
Super. So we have heard all this amazing greatness that you've got going on, and just really, really deep meaning behind what you're doing in your mission. When do you feel the greatest sense of satisfaction?
Um, well, for my work and my life are so tied together, and so I would have two answers for that. So, as far as my work goes, when I'm speaking for sure, especially on a stage, you get the audience going, you see people taking notes, you see the questions, so I love doing that. And so writing and speaking are definitely when I'm out there and I see the engagement and I see the light bulb moments and just the, oh my goodness, someone finally gets me and gets this. And I actually have something I can do now, because it's so hard when people give you a bunch of things and say, well, like the shoulds, right? You should do this, you should do this. But then people are like, okay, that's great, but I have no idea how. And I am a firm believer in giving the how to help you write your story. I don't want you writing my story, and I don't need to write your story. I want to help you write your story, right? Of this 65, 70. So that is one. And then for me personally, with all the work that I do, because it all ties into my own family, is just those moments that we are sitting in joy and clarity and fun. And I will just say, we just had, Mother's Day recently, and my Mother's Day was kind of chaotic. It was two AC units out, the washer out, dogs were watching or were sick all over the place. Like that kind of, I was like, what could happen next? Right. And we really wanted to go to the beach. We live on the coast in North Carolina. And I was like, I just want to spend the afternoon at the beach. And it started raining. And I was like, there's no lightning. It's cool, right? So we go and we're like the only people out there, but I was like, we're going to be in the water anyway. And so we go in, all four of my daughters and myself are out there. And my husband even comes out, who does not like, coldish water. It's May. So it's still, or it was May. And so it's still, a little fresh or a little chilly for him. So he comes out, he's like, I'm here. And so it was just this moment when all six of us are playing in the water. No one else is there. It's raining and we're just laughing and being goofs with ourselves. And so, it's those moments that I really take as, success for our family. And then, when I get to take that to audiences and I get to share that with other people, that's when I find success there.
It's such a great visual. All of it. All of it. Oh, so nice. We all crave great resources, Nellie, to help inspire, uplift, expand our minds, and you've shared so much today, to include maybe get us through the day. Do you have a favorite book in addition to yours, resources or a mentor that you'd like to share with the audience, and what makes it a favorite?
Um, I have many, but one that I will always recommend for sure is Brene Brown. I love the work of Brene Brown. She does a lot of vulnerability work, and that is something that was stripped away from parenting for a while during some previous generations of parenting, and really needs to come to the forefront again, so that our kids can see that we are people that they can learn from. We're not just this, warden that is sitting on a chair saying, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, right? You can't learn from someone that you don't respect. And in order to respect, our kids need to know that we can empathize and understand what they're going through today. And that takes vulnerability. So I love the work of Brene Brown. I've studied with her for a while now. And all of her books. I don't really have a favorite. I think they're all wonderful. She just recently came out with a dictionary of emotions, which is wonderful to see because we've gotten to a point that the narrative of emotions has gotten down to mad, sad, happy, and it's like, wait, there's so much more in there. And in order to have a courageous conversation with your spouse, with your kids, with other people too, you need to understand how they're feeling and for them to understand how you are as well. And you need more than just those three very basic adjectives for that. So, highly recommend Brene.
Excellent. And we'll make sure and include her in the resource section. All right, milady, it has been awesome visiting with you today. And as we begin to wrap up, keeping the promise to the audience to share intentional inspiration amidst everything else you've shared, do you have a piece of key go-to advice that resonates with you that maybe you share with your daughters or something you've got hanging on the wall that you'd like to pass on to us?
Yeah, I would. We have definitely some sayings around our house, but one that is on repeat more often than some is discipline yourself so others don't have to. And so we say that quite often in this house with raising, four teenage daughters. They need to learn how to discipline themselves. And it is a slow, transference or exchange, like at the end of a relay race, right? Passing that baton, but they need to learn how to discipline themselves so others don't have to.
Wow, that one's important. I think we all need that. All right, milady, this stage is completely yours. Where can our audience go to find and connect with you on your socials or support you in your continued success?
Well, listen, I know the world is a complicated place, and so I like to keep it simple. Everything can be found through my website, nellieharden.com. You will find links to all of our communities, to the complimentary masterclass, Daughter Decoder out there, to different resources and things. So if you go to the website, you will find everything that you need, including if, looking for speaking engagements or anything like that.
Perfect. All right, milady, it has been a pleasure and a treat and an honor visiting with you today. Thank you for sharing your silhouette of success with us. You are passing light, mission bound for all of us. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate you too.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.